You like dragons? Imagine dragging these nuts across your forehead.
Welcome to the motherfucking lady. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. A bit of insight as to when we can expect WBO champion Terry Harper to return to action. A Twitter user who goes by the name James G asked her, "Any fight date as of yet, Terry?" To which young Terry responded, "Yes. I believe an announcement is due this week." Terry Harper would be making her MVP debut in her next fight, having signed to the promotion all the way back there in July of last year.
She's just now getting out there? They're just now getting her a fight.
It does seem strange that they would have picked up Terry Harper over 6 months ago and done a good number of shows since then, big ones and small ones, and Terry didn't land a spot on any of them, which gives me the impression that when they signed her, it wasn't necessarily about promoting her so much as her being part of a bigger picture, the lightweight picture, because right around the time they signed her, they also picked up Stephanie Hearn, WBA champion, and they also picked up Holly Holm. It gives me the impression that the end game was having Holly fight Stephanie, and if Holly wins, then she unifies with Terry.
So this was all about promoting Holly.
At least part of that prediction came true. They did make a fight between Holly Holm and Stephanie Hearn, but Holly Holm lost, scuppering those plans. And in between then till now, they also picked up Carolyn Dubois.
Change of plans.
So maybe now what the plan is defeat Terry to Carolyn, get Carolyn that second alphabet title, and in effect boost her profile. There's been a prevalent rumor the last week and a half, 2 weeks, that MVP is set to debut in the United Kingdom, do their first show there, presumably headlined by Carolyn Dubois. And they do have a good number of British fighters to decorate the card with. You figure that if Carolyn and Terry are in the main event, you can put Ellie Scotney's undisputed title fight with Mayeli Flores. You can put that as the co-main. Ellie in the co-main, Carolyn in the main.
With Terry.
You can decorate the undercard with a rematch between former champions Shannon Courtenay and Ebony Bridges.
Ebony's Australian.
Yeah, she is, but Shannon is British, and by now, the Brits are familiar with Ebony. They're just as familiar with Ebony as they are with Shannon. On the undercard, you can have former champion Savanya Marshall make her ring return.
You can have former champion Chantel Cameron make her ring return.
On the prelims, you can have some of your younger international fighters from various locations. They can do it. It's ambitious.
So an all-female card.
Well, it's been done before. Boxer did it once or twice. They did it for the Shields versus Marshall card. They did it again for the Lauren Price versus Natasha Jonas card.
Boxer's done it. MVP's done it on this side of the Atlantic Ocean. They did an all-female show.
So it has been done. I remember that Eddie Hearn once called it gimmicky, doing an all-female show on the premise that it's all-female, because boxing is boxing. 2 guys, 2 girls, or 2 squirrels, boxing match is a boxing match. Whereas if you make it a point to advertise it,
it distracts you.
As an all-female match or an all-female card, it distracts you from what normally draws you in. That a fight's a fight. You don't need to overstate it. I constantly say a women's boxing match, an all-women's card. Just advertise it for what it is. Boxing. Boxing for the sake of boxing.
Violence.
Because it is the violence, after all, that draws the crowd and draws you in. If you're in the bodega, somebody runs in and said, "Hey, it's 2 broads killing each other outside," you're gonna go watch it.
2 bitches is killing each other.
Oh, I am. If you're exiting the club and 2 inebriated women are having it out, having a Donnybrook on the cobbles, you're gonna watch it.
No, I am.
Though constantly advertising it as women's boxing for the sake of the women, it just gives off the impression of virtue signaling, and people at home don't like being sermonized to.
So when Eddie Hearn called it gimmicky, that's the impression that I got. That's what I think he meant.
When you consider how it was that Matchroom gained a lot of their female fighters' traction, it wasn't by separating them from the men. It was by integrating them, by having female fights littered on the undercard. Some with the men, some with the women, all of it getting the fighters' attention.
Exposure.
And it worked, because Matchroom did manage to get their Valkyries a lot of attention. A lot of them became known to the boxing community at large. Perhaps not always well-liked.
But that just boils down to the individual.
In any event, prevalent rumors suggest that MVP could be on the eve of staging a card in the United Kingdom headlined by Terry Harper and Caroline Dubois.
I like Terry a lot more than Caroline, but if they fight, I expect Caroline to win.
What is it you like about Terry more than Caroline?
Terry wasn't a standout amateur. She wasn't on Team GB. She didn't have the red carpet rolled out for her. She's gotten this far by doing things the hard way, and I admire that. She would have made it this far. With no prior experience as a boxer, having become a 3-weight world champion, that's really something. But her limitations as a boxer against Caroline, they're going to catch up to her.
Caroline's too fast, too sharp, too well-schooled, and I think that Caroline beats her.
So from what you saw, what was your takeaway?
Basic, you know. I think again, I haven't seen, like, I think these guys are long-term players, so
sure.
Everybody's different, right? Like, to the naked eye, it probably lacked ambition. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think if you want to come out the gates hot, you want to do a big event with a big crowd and make big noise. But at the same time, I don't think these people are necessarily like that. You know, I think they're looking at a 5-10 year plan for the business, and let's get it rolling, maybe. I mean, if I did a show like that, with that card, in that kind of atmosphere, with the look, and I would be ridiculed for months. But this is a new thing, and it's emerging, and it will, no doubt, it will get better and better and better. The broadcast I haven't really seen. I saw Max Kellerman, and you know, but yeah, I think they've got another one on Sunday.
Yeah,
that's actually a better card. It's again a lot of people that not a lot of people know, but it's actually a good card. I think the main event last time, from what I saw and what I've heard, wasn't the most compelling. I think the key is really the storytelling, because if you're going to use the level of fighters that they're using at the moment, you need to kind of explain what they are and what it is. And this is what I talked about with regards to the league, the belts, the governing bodies. Everything's a bit mixed up and in the air. So it's like, and I'm sure they'll get to that eventually, but I said, you know, previously, what are you actually watching? Just 3 fights? What are they, for a championship, or is this part of the league, or is it just 3 fights? And the answer was, no, it's just 3 fights. Oh, right, okay, that's cool. But what are they fighting for? Or nothing, actually. They just fight. It's a 10-round fight. Okay.
I understand what Eddie Hearn is saying, that right now Zuffa is lacking a sense of direction because the fights we're watching aren't necessarily towards the Zuffa belt. The tournament format hasn't really started.
They're just getting the ball rolling. So that when Eddie Hearn asks, well, what are they boxing for?
Same thing that Anthony Cacace was boxing Lee Wood for. When he made the decision to drop his IBF title to get out of the Nunez fight to fight Lee Wood off of inactivity.
Same thing.
Same thing Lee Wood is about to box Josh Warrington for a second time, because it's not for a world title.
Same thing.
Not every fight in the sport of boxing is for an alphabet title, or even in a particular direction. Not every fight in the sport of boxing has this big backstory and narrative. Sometimes it's just the prize fight, for the sake of a prize fight. And that's what Zuffa's fighters are doing right now. Prize fighting. Just getting the ball rolling.
The second card will be better.
Zuffa Boxing has confirmed the full ZO2 card as the league remains unapproved. Zuffa Boxing has set the full card for Zuffa Boxing 02, but the promotion's longer-term league plans remain unapproved as Dana White's proposed model continues to wait for a green light. And so the fights you're seeing are not necessarily part of its tournament format or even towards the Zuffa belt. ZO2 is scheduled for Sunday, February 1st this year at the Meta Apex in Las Vegas, operating under the Nevada State Athletic Commission and streaming exclusively on Paramount+. The card includes recognizable names and competitive matchups, yet it also underlines a reality Zuffa can't avoid. This remains a promotion staging events, while the league format it has discussed publicly is not yet approved to move forward. The league itself has yet to launch in the form White has repeatedly outlined.
And in that time, we've seen Zuffa make a play for fighters that hold sanctioning body titles, sanctioning body belts, while they're trying to sort all of this out,
giving rise to suspicions, at least from Eddie Hearn, that they don't know what they're doing. This main card is built on experience, not hype. The headline bout sees former world-level contender Jose Valenzuela face Diego Torres Nunez in a 10-round lightweight contest. It is a solid, functional main event rather than a statement fight, fitting the current phase of Zuffa Boxing's rollout. Elsewhere on the main card, former interim champion Sergey Boachuk meets Radzov Butaev at middleweight, while former WBC light heavyweight champion Alexander Vozdik faces Radovanje Kalajdzic in a matchup that brings genuine experience and credibility to the show.
It's a better looking card than the first one was. It shows that things can improve, even if they haven't really launched the league format yet. They can still entertain. They can still put together intriguing fights.
Even if none of the bouts are designed to crown champions or establish divisional pecking orders, for now, they serve to fill cards while the broader structure remains unresolved.
Jaleel Hackett's placement tells its own story.
One of the more intriguing names on the undercard is Jaleel Hackett, whose career path has already taken several sharp turns. Jaleel Hackett previously left Floyd Mayweather's stable to sign with Eddie Hearn, suffered a defeat, and has now moved on again as he appears under the Zuffa banner. He is listed to face Roberto Cruz, with the bout billed at middleweight.
For all of those bleeding hearts worrying about changes to the Ali Act and fighter pay,
how come their hearts weren't bleeding for Jaleel Hackett when Floyd Mayweather left him on the shelf to collect dust and ring rust along with several other fighters? They didn't care then, but they all of a sudden care now that Dana White's involved.
BoxRec still classifies Hackett as a junior middleweight. Recent weigh-ins above the 154-pound limit make the middleweight designation a practical one, with no titles at stake and no sanctioning body mandates in place. Flexibility is the safer option for a fighter focused on stability, while the promotion itself remains in a transitional phase. For all the talk surrounding Zuffa Boxing's ambition, the promotion remains constrained by factors beyond matchmaking. White has made it clear that the long-term vision includes promotion-controlled titles, rankings, and a UFC-style structure. However, those plans hinge on potential changes to the Muhammad Ali Act, which currently prevent promoters from exerting that level of control. And until that landscape shifts, Zuffa Boxing operates more like a standard promoter than the disruptive league it has been marketed as. Zuffa Boxing 02 then is less a milestone and more of a placeholder, a functioning card designed to keep the wheels turning while the bigger plan waits for permission to move forward.
I don't see the need to overthink it. I'm a boxing fan. I want to see boxing matches, good ones, violent ones, and I think that this card can provide some of that.
The faces on this card are a bit more familiar than what we saw in Zuffa's inaugural show. Rayo, Sergey, Vozdik.
We're more familiar with these fighters. We've seen them a good number of times already, and so it provides entertainment. And on a Sunday, it doesn't clash with the other shows this weekend, of which there are many.
There's a Pro Box show on Friday, a Matchroom show on Saturday afternoon, Turkey show,
and Top Ranks at night, going head-to-head with each other, and then you have this on Sunday, boxing on Sunday. I like the sound of that.
I don't see the need to overthink it.
As long as the fights are good and entertaining, and don't clash with anything else, I'm all right.
Bam Rodriguez. So I watch all the stuff that you're involved in. You were asked throughout the week about him. Mm-hmm. You were told that he came to you, you matched the offer, all's well, you've got big plans. Mm-hmm. Robert Garcia, manager, trainer, does an interview with Cigar Talk, says, no, we brought one thing, but we have other things. We haven't made a decision. Yeah. Where do we stand with Bam Rodriguez?
Robert needs to obviously understand the legal position of a first last, which I think he's done. And, you know, his best interest, of course, is looking after Bam Rodriguez and himself, of course, and his other fighters. And that's the way that it's played out, is how I explained it. He had an offer from Zuffa, and we matched it. And, you know, the process was adhered to under the contractual terms, and then we move forward. You know, once essentially they've received that offer and they want to take that offer, or they say, this is a good offer, we present it to you and we match it, we move forward. So
it can't be like, okay, you've matched this one.
No,
now here's one from...
Hang on a minute. 3 months later, I've got another one. Hang on.
Right.
It
doesn't work that way.
like that. So
why do you think he said that?
probably for that reason that I said, and obviously understanding that position.
He was...
Like I told you earlier, when the contract ended, the last fight, Eddie had 30 days. And I didn't hear from Eddie. 30 days. After the 30 days, it took another 2 weeks for me to hear from Eddie for the first time. But when the 30 days came up, I did ask.
I think the most pertinent question, based on what Eddie Hearn is saying and what Robert Garcia is now saying, is at what point does Eddie Hearn's right to match whatever offers are made to BAM expire? Does it expire after 30 days? And after that, if somebody comes up to BAM with a wad of cash and says, hey, stick this in your ass, is he free to accept it? Is he free to go? Dates are important. At what point does BAM become a free agent? At what point was he offered anything from anyone, from Zuffa? How long does Matchroom's right to match any offers made to BAM last? Because that is what will tell the story. What's indicative to me is it sounds like Robert wants to go to Zuffa. They haven't accepted anything yet. I mean, he hasn't officially signed to Zuffa, has he? If he has, they haven't officially announced it. All we've heard from Robert is that BAM is free to field offers from other promoters. That's the story. But if he's comfortable in his arrangement with Matchroom, and he's liked things the way they have been so far, why would he even entertain offers from someone else? Money. He's after more money. Even if he is after more money, and Zuffa offered him more money than he's been making, Matchroom says they just matched it. Based on their matching rights, he has to stay with them. So why would it still sound like Robert wants to take him over there? At Matchroom, BAM is one of many world-class boxers that Matchroom promotes. He's not necessarily Matchroom's biggest star, whereas at Zuffa, who's just starting out, he can shine a little bit brighter and on a bigger platform, because Paramount Plus is many times bigger than DAZN is. DAZN has approximately 20 million subscribers. Paramount Plus has 79 million, and not all of them are boxing fans, which affords you the opportunity to advertise boxing to people who don't necessarily watch it. You've got more reach. On DAZN, you can only advertise combat sports to people who are already there for combat sports. It's a limited amount of engagement. It's very hard to branch out, reach that casual audience, and I get the impression Robert wants to take him over there. He wants him to migrate from Matchroom over to Zuffa. Essentially, he wants to better deal Eddie Hearn. Jesus, after Eddie gave him his big opportunities and got him to this point, he wants to ditch them for greener pastures? Loyalty is a four-letter word in the sport of boxing. If what you want is loyalty, get a dog, because everybody's looking to better deal. Everybody. These fighters will break your heart. It's the nature of the beast and the business. And I get the impression Robert wants to take him over there, but it's unclear at this time whether or not he can.